Welcome to the Saints Martini, a cocktails and conversation podcast with your hosts, the Saint and the Halo, Warren and Irish.
And welcome to another podcast of the Saints Martini with myself, the Saint Warren, and of course the Halo Irish. How are you today? Have you been smashing any cakes with your feet?
Warren, that's my other account. We don't talk about that.
Sorry.
That'll be on the new show.
Oh, the new show. What is that, the OnlyFans? No, sorry.
No, I deleted that. That wasn't doing well. No, that's going to be on the new show, though, that I told you about, that I'm going to put on for us here.
Oh, yes.
A little mini cast. We discussed this. Yes, so that's a new one.
There's going to be squashing of cakes with feet.
It is absolutely not going to be squashing of cakes with feet, although we could discuss that. That could be a topic. You don't know.
Is it?
Because I'm not going to put limits on anybody or,
Fair enough.
or judge them for things unless they're gross.
Yes.
That I will. Weird is fine.
I had no idea that it was a thing. I just had no idea that
I just blew Warren's mind when I told him people would pay for that. Not from me, but that people do pay for that. Like pictures of women crushing food with their feet. Not me. Again, not me.
There is quite a bit of a foot thing, though, isn't there?
Not on camera.
What? Sorry, you don't eat food on camera.
No, I said I don't eat food on camera. That's premium content. Like that's premium level content.
Today on the Saints Martini, Irish eats a slice of pecan pie. Oh dear.
That actually sounds good.
It is, but it is amazing, isn't it? I mean, I didn't realise. Apparently, there's like smoking videos where you just watch somebody smoke a cigar or something. It's like, and that's people will pay for that. It's very weird.
Who is paying for these things?
I don't
know. Because Warren told me that people were paying for videos of 8-hour train trips from somewhere to somewhere else in Australia, just on the front of the train.
Yes.
From Melbourne to Sydney, is that what you said?
Well, yeah, but it's all over the world, They'll do Boston to New York, and they just film the train running. Yeah, it's a real thing.
And this is a business.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. There's a market for anything.
Yeah.
See,
like
that's a whole new segment for the show.
Yeah, cabin train.
The free market is...
So, okay. As long as
I've already been drinking, in case no one can tell.
As long as we don't doubt, what is it Japanese tentacle porn or whatever.
Okay, wait a minute.
I'm a huge fan.
Who's talking about my stuff?
I'm a huge fan of Archer, the TV series Archer. And, and they always keep referring back to Japanese tentacle porn. And I didn't realize, I thought it was a joke.
Because have you seen those movies?
Well, I didn't realize it was a real thing. I thought it was a joke, right?
Oh my God.
Seriously thought it was a joke.
Okay, I don't know if it's technically tentacle porn, but some of the stuff that we watched in college, some of the anime that my friend would bring over from Japan, he would buy it straight from Japan and bring it over, and it didn't have any English in it, but it was literally like tentacle monsters, like splitting women in half with a tentacle in that. Yeah, it was weird.
What?
And it was like, I don't know what's happening, and it's kind of grotesque, but yet you can't look away. But I should have.
I
really should have.
I mean, I don't really know.
Thank you, MCSU.
Yeah. The Japanese obsession with like octopus and stuff. I don't really understand it, but there's a cultural thing, But I don't.
But there's something out there for everyone. That's basically what this comes down to. Look, that's about the food crushing videos. Like, okay, that's not my thing, but if that's someone's thing, I don't care. It doesn't hurt me in any way. And if someone can make a living crushing food with their feet for people to buy, and it mutually makes people happy in different ways, I don't give a shit. Enjoy, people. Make that money. Okay, I just don't care.
That's exactly
There's
right.
There's something out there for everybody.
Yeah, I would have to. I totally agree. I think if there was a politician out there who was running a campaign saying, "I am going to end, cake swashing videos on the internet," you would have to ask, "What's your actual agenda? Why do you have a problem? Like, what is the problem
Maybe
with
like
people?"
The Tipper Gore of food crush videos.
Yeah.
You don't get that.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
That's a Gen X censorship joke.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry. Al Gore's wife, Tipper Gore, when I was in high school.
No, hang on. I don't even know who that is.
Campaign.
Sorry, who's? I've heard of
Al Gore was our former vice president. He ran for president against George W. and lost by 500 votes because, and we won't discuss the definite.
He was the guy in. Was he the guy in Florida who accepted defeat and then came out the next day and said, "Oh no, sorry, I didn't mean it. I'm still in the race."
I don't
was
know
that Al
because
Gore?
I don't remember that part of it, but because I've had 2 Violet Cosmos,
right.
But and also some wine at dinner. But no, it was the presidential race, and it came down to Florida, and it was at the time before we had the very reliable internet voting, the video screens. But we had paper ballots, and they were kind of punch ballots in a way, and there was this big argument over what they called the hanging chads, because sometimes the little holes were poked through, but they weren't all the way torn off. So was that really a vote? Sometimes you could see it was punched, but it actually didn't punch through the paper. Was that actually a vote? And so it went back and forth like this, and we had a lot of, it's Florida politics then, because it came down to the Florida part of the election, and as it turned out, gee willikers, the Republicans won. How is anybody surprised? But I think we all knew that it was bullshit. And I don't know where we'd be right now if Al Gore had actually become president instead of George W. Who the fuck knows? But Al Gore was Bill Clinton's vice president. That's who he was. And so it was right after Bill Clinton had done 2 years and came out, very popular. And we could have had Al Gore, and then maybe Iraq wouldn't have happened. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, it's very interesting.
It's an alternative history.
Yes, it is. It's a bit of a what if. I mean, I'm sure Afghanistan probably would have still happened, but I'm thinking that Iraq probably.
The CIA was doing all their.
Well, yeah, but Iraq wouldn't have happened. I mean, that was. I really don't think that would have happened.
We don't know it wouldn't have happened, but maybe not for the reason. They wouldn't have at least blamed it on the reason that they did, because who knows?
Yes. Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
true. That is true.
I would like to say maybe, but maybe I don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about W.
No. W. I
don't even know why we got on that subject.
He had an amazing walk, though. He always walked like he had a couple of tennis balls under his armpits. You ever notice that? He had this swagger.
He was a cowboy.
He was like a cowboy. I can't know. Yeah.
I like how after Barack Obama got into office, and then once Trump got in, how everybody all of a sudden, because he shared a piece of candy or something with Michelle Obama, that all of a sudden somebody looked at this war criminal, all of a sudden he was all warm and fuzzy, and isn't he cute? I'm sorry, the guy was still a war criminal. But let's not.
But what's the thing? What is it? My enemy's enemy is my friend. I think that's
bullshit.
No. But I think that's what it came down to. It's like the United States and Britain became allies with the Soviet Union in the Second World War, even though they were devoutly against each other. And I think it was kind of the same thing, because the Bushes hated the
I don't give a shit about any of that.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't feel bad that they were friendly with each other. I just don't want people in the streets, looking at it and going, "Oh, that's so cute." No, it isn't.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
It's nice that there was a nice moment, but he's still a fucking war criminal, and that doesn't make him a nice old man. Just because he shared some candy.
Yes, I know. I know. I know.
I'm going to stop ranting now because, I don't want to do that. We were talking about food crush videos, and now all of a sudden, I'm on to politics.
We can't stay on topic.
W.
It's just not possible. W.
I know.
Anyway, So, I just think, are there any other? Have you ever heard of any other weird things like that? Like I had never heard of food crushing videos.
Like food crushing.
But is there any? Don't mention like gross stuff. Just I don't want to freak out. But I mean, is there stuff out there that's really weird that you suddenly
Who do you
learn?
think I am?
No. It's just like I've just learned about food crushing.
Well, I'm glad I could open your horizons a little bit, like expand them for you. It's my pleasure to do so.
It was like, what is this new one that everybody adores, but it's incredibly popular. ASMR videos where basically you sit back with a set of headphones and someone talks to you with a very calming voice and makes lots of sounds which they call, I think, triggering sounds, which are meant to make you calmer or something or other. And
did you say karma?
No, calmer.
What did you
not
say?
The karma.
Oh, calmer.
No, karma, as in they make you more calm.
That or something else, which I dare not say out loud.
No.
That I thought you said.
Although, oh my God, I just got that.
Not on this show.
Although I do believe that some people do watch these videos to probably do that when you have a look at them. But
I don't know what the fuck that is, but more power to them if that works for them. I would think that would maybe fall into the line of like a frequency meditation kind of thing, mixed with like a tantric sex thing, which would be weird over video, but
I think that's
not necessarily unimaginable, I guess.
But what I don't get about them is that the audio side of it I fully get. So I would think you would be downloading these things on like iTunes or Spotify or something, but instead,
or like on really small, powerful speakers that were portable and you could hold in your hand.
Well, yeah,
and then turn the bass up really loud. Okay, we're going off on a whole other tangent again. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm not.
Are you referring to a scene in a certain American movie?
I'm not. I'm
I'm
not referring to any movie or any person's living or dead.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough. Anyway,
I'm not.
Anyway, I don't get, though, why they're on video. If they're on video, there's more going on than just the sounds. That's just what I'll say.
I haven't watched one, so I can't speak on this with any sort of knowledge. It's like most Christians when you want to talk about the Bible with them.
And they've never read it, yes. Well, that happens a lot.
Okay, thank you. It was lame, but you could have at least gave it a snicker. Come on.
It was good. I'll pay it. I'll pay it. Don't worry, I'll pay out on that one. Definitely. But okay, I'm going to change the subject so we get away from stomping cakes with feet.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
Well, I was finally keeping to one subject matter.
Sorry. Oh, my God. Pardon me.
It's going to be 3 hours of me just laughing hysterically. I'm sorry. And being inappropriate.
Oh, my God.
Which is pretty much every time anybody hangs out with me anywhere.
But anyway,
you can't take me anywhere. You don't have to take me anywhere because it doesn't matter where I am.
You'll be taking photographs of the bushes and other things. But
wait, what? No, what? That is not going to sound right.
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
Out of context.
Out of context, it doesn't make any
backstory.
sense. Oh, and my God, now someone's going to take that such the wrong way. Someone is going to take that such the wrong way.
Warren.
I didn't think about that.
People are going to think things about me.
I should have said trees.
Things.
I don't know.
Warren.
Trees. Fucking trees. You know, trees. Anyway.
See, now you're saying fucking trees. That just, again, you just keep going back to this place.
Well, I'm just going back to
where I keep trying to get out.
No.
Keep pulling me back in.
What?
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I'm not going to ever do that.
Some sort of druid heritage or something. Fucking trees.
What?
I don't know. Isn't I don't know. Sorry. Oh, dearie me. Okay.
My Celtic grandmother's name. What's wrong with you?
Please meet my ancestor. Fucking trees. Oh, God. Good afternoon, Mr. Fucking Trees.
But which god?
Oh.
Because a lot of them, apparently.
Oh, if they're druids, they'd be pantheistic.
I want you to say that in Old Gaelic, or don't say it again.
They'd be pantheistic, wouldn't they? Pantheonists, if they're druids, I think. I think that's the way it works. If you, druids, they have, what is it? The spirits are within.
Well, okay, but wait, are you talking about modern druids, which are basically...
Well, pretty much, because I don't think anyone actually really knows what original druids, because by the time we started taking
I'm just going to say
records...
that the druids were pagan of some sort. We don't know necessarily, I guess, whether they were multi-theistic or monotheistic or, or anything. I don't know. I'm sure somebody might have some clues because there's a lot of myths and tales and stuff, but the druids themselves, we don't really know anything about per se. They were mentioned, I think, several times but it was more like by Christian writers, wasn't it?
No, Romans.
I don't know that
Romans.
Was it the Romans?
Yeah,
okay,
they did, but the problem was they wrote about them in much the same way that the Nazis would write about the Jews. It was totally made up crap. Like there was
that's
nothing,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So do we know that it was anything at all, in relationship to the reality of it? We don't even
not
really
really.
know. Because it's like today, if you talk to people, some Trumpers now, they're sure Antifa is like a whole thing, and they worship the devil and drink the blood of babies. That's the kind of propaganda that's the same thing, I think, going on way back in those times.
It is actually.
I don't know if we can trust any of it.
Yeah, no, you're quite right. The Romans wanted to make the ancient Britons look so barbaric and primitive, if you like, that some of the stories we just know are nonsense. They're absolute nonsense. But some of it's kind of based on reality, but a huge amount of it's not.
Whose reality is it, though?
Well, they always say, they say history and reality is written by the victor.
Because a lot of us tend to live in our own.
Oh, well, yeah, this is true. This
Me,
is very true.
Specifically. I like to live in my own reality.
But it's, but there's a lot of societies like that. What we understand about them. I mean, it's like, what is it? The big fight between the Persians and the Greeks. With the great battle of was it Thermopylae, which is better known as the 300. The story of that was written. The Spartans. I mean, we know a lot about the Spartans, but that actual battle, that was written about by a Greek in Athens who wasn't even a Spartan.
Yeah.
100 years after the event. So it wouldn't
like the Bible. Sorry.
Well, actually, like the New Testament, yes, absolutely, yes, yeah, I know.
I'm gonna stop.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stop giving it to the Christians. Sorry, like in general.
All right.
I'm just gonna stop.
It's okay. The Saints Martini now Christian friendly. Now the new Saints Martini now with extra Christianity. Oh, dear.
No.
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 No. I'm just trying to do my madman approach. You know, the advertising spiel.
You're gonna mess up my my streak. I'm trying to get into hell again.
Okay.
Like I just need another punch on my card. Like they keep throwing me out.
Okay. I believe you got vaccinated during the week.
I did.
Yes.
I did. And then I felt like shit for 2 days. But yeah.
But not
because
around for a couple
sick.
of days.
Yeah, well, I didn't feel sick at all, but I felt literally exhausted, just tired. I could not figure out why I was so tired. And then also, I felt kind of high, which is not always surprising, but it was particularly pronounced.
Right.
And for no reason. Like, for no reason. So, yeah, it was a little weird for a couple days, little woozy, but it was kind of pleasant, you know?
Pleasant?
It was kind of pleasant. Yeah, I got to take a couple naps.
Right.
And that's rare because everybody left me alone, so I was actually able to get a couple naps in. And, you know, I felt a little buzzed. So that's always pleasurable. You know me. The hedonism is kind of my game. So I'm with the buzzed vibe.
But it is good to hear that after so many COVID fucking disasters, mess ups, problems, crap that you guys had to put up with in the United States, you're finally like moving forward, which is great.
Well,
you know, congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to. Well, thanks, and it's good because we've gotten, I think, up to like 21 million people vaccinated now or something. I think we're up to that. But it's been slow going, and especially in states like mine and people with red governors and stuff that really have been taking money, you know, under the table and making backdoor deals and all kinds of stuff to enrich their friends and get the vaccinations to wealthy, rich donors and those people instead of to areas that need it. More so with people who have less access to healthcare and maybe aren't able to get out and get the vaccine as readily and as easily, in regard, and also any other kind of healthcare. So, we have a lot of really selfish people in our country, and we went and stood in a line at a FEMA site because I was worried about my kid. You know, he's 21 now, but he, like I said before, he's doing his first job out in the real world because he was an actor before that for most of his life. You know, He's been in commercials and some other stuff. And that's really the only work he had done. So he's working in a restaurant now. And at the height of all of this, and I was really worried about him because spending so much time in his room, as I said to you before, although it is a petri dish of, I don't know what could be growing in there, you'd think that maybe his immune system would be stronger, but he does tend to get things pretty easily. So I wanted to make sure he was vaccinated. And it was the first day that had opened up that people under the age of 40 in Florida could get it. So we went out and we stood in the line, and it took like an hour to go through the whole thing, even though the line was really backed up. And it kept moving, and they did a good job, and they got us through. And we got the Johnson & Johnson shot, so we don't have to go back and get a second dose. He did feel a little under the weather the second day. I think he was playing it up a little bit because it was the first time that he was going to be able to call out from work for his job.
Right.
Because, you know,
I know.
Easy for him. It's been pretty rough, and it's been quite the interesting crowd, and he's been in some really weird situations, and awful things have happened, and he's really done it with a smile. So I just wanted to make sure that he didn't die while he was doing it.
Yes, which is
so
not
I did
what
take
you
him
want.
out there, got him to do it. Yeah, exactly. So it was a good thing, and I do feel slightly relieved by the whole thing. I know that we've got a couple weeks until we're, you know, more so protected, and we're still wearing our masks everywhere, of course, especially in Florida with all the new variants. You never know. But I do have at least a little bit of peace of mind now. And my anxiety level has dropped slightly. So that's good.
Yes. That's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Because my parents got their shot. They got their shot same day you did. actually just on the other side of the world. And different
Yes.
drug, though. They got the AstraZeneca one, the controversial one, because you get it and you die of a blood clot if you want to. Well, no, it's now been established that yes, there are some side effects, and blood clots is one side effect. However, it is, I believe, 1 in 250,000. That's your chance. So, in other words, it's more dangerous to get in the car and drive to the doctor to get the shot than it is to get the shot. Mm-hmm. So I think we need to put it into some perspective, in that regard. But it's okay, because the Prime Minister of Australia, yes, Scotty from marketing himself, he came out and he said, don't worry about it. We've had one case in Australia of a person who's died of blood clots, so don't worry about it. Okay. I've ordered 20 million Pfizer vaccines, and they will be coming to Australia to fix the stopgap. Mr. Prime Minister, when will they arrive? December. Oh, what Jesus Christ.
December?
Yeah, right. And then we've been living in this absolute. I probably am not going to get a vaccination until the end of the year. This is how slow it's running in Australia, because the government has stuffed up its quantities. It's got quantities wrong. It's had orders from Europe cancelled on them. The Australian production, because we make the vaccine in Australia, but we can't make enough to supply the country. So we have to order in extra from overseas, because our, chemist factories, for want of a better word, they're just not big enough to make millions and millions and millions of doses. It's fine. Yeah, that's exactly right. So they're short of all this stuff. So I don't actually blame the government for running short. What I do blame the government is spinning it all the time and outright lying to the public about whether they have enough or they don't have enough. I mean, this is how bad it
sounds like something familiar.
I know it.
Distant past.
Yeah, I know. We had a press conference. Are you ready for this during the week? Okay, when it came out that there was something like, I don't know how many it was, 500,000 shots short or something like that. They're currently they're something like 2 months behind in their vaccination schedule. They've only vaccinated about 100,000 people. It's really, really bad. And so the Prime Minister stood up at the press conference, and when he was continually asked by the press, well, hang on, is there enough vaccine to get everybody vaccinated as throughout the year? And he kept doing double talk, gobbledygook, not answering the question. 3 different times he was asked, and he would give this nonsense comment, which basically meant yes, it is fine. And then the health minister, so that's like do you have a secretary of health or something in America?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that's the equivalency, but they're elected.
Don't ask me what it's called.
Okay, right, but it's but
Health and Human Services.
Okay, but in Australia, that person is elected. Okay, so they're part of Parliament. So anyway, so then the health minister stood up and totally contradicted everything the Prime Minister had just said on 3 times. This is in the same press conference. They can't even get their story straight. The health minister and the Prime Minister, they can't even get their story straight. And this is on the top, right, of the rape allegations throughout Parliament House.
Oh yeah.
Then we've had the story where the Prime Minister, oh my God, we had a women's march in Canberra. They went to Parliament House. It was then suggested that maybe the spokespeople of the women's march, it would be good for them to meet the Prime Minister and talk about what they wanted. The Prime Minister said, fine, as long as it's done in my office under my terms. They're there talking about the rights of women, and he wants to put... And you can't write this stuff or make this stuff up. This is the same man who, during those fires, do you remember those huge fires we had a year ago in Australia? where half the country was alight.
Yeah.
And the Prime Minister,
Yeah.
the Prime Minister was on holiday through half of it in Hawaii, okay? When he was finally forced by public pressure to come back to the country, seeing half the country was on fire, it might be a good idea if he actually cut his holiday short, right? So he came back to Australia.
Right.
The aircraft, which is like it's a Boeing aircraft. It's the equivalent of like Air Force One, but smaller, because it's, for Australia sort of thing, right? Not as glitzy or anything like that. In fact, I think in times of war, they actually pull the seats out and fill it full of fuel tanks and use it as a refueling aircraft. And I believe that's true.
Mean, why not?
That's true, actually. I believe that's a true story. In times of war, he loses access to the aeroplane and it becomes an air refueler. But anyway, and so he hopped off the plane right at the airport to walk down the steps where the press are all there. The country's on fire. He's been brought back to cut his holiday short because people are demanding, do something. Our cities are on fire. And he walks off in a Hawaiian shirt. Not a suit and tie.
It's kind of like
Hawaiian
Ted Cruz went to Cancun.
Yeah. And so we're at the point now, in saying that, during Corona, he saved the Australian economy. I mean, we are now corona-free in Australia without drugs. Our economy.
Well, nobody should drink that beer.
Yeah, well, yes.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Sorry.
Sorry. Our economy has bounced back. We're on the climb again. So he has to be thanked for that. But Scotty from marketing, there's an election in 12 months, mate. It's time to go.
Uh-oh.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
Get that sausage sizzle on.
We need a sausage sizzle. We do. We need a sausage sizzle. I can smell those bangers going right now.
Story of my life.
So, we've told people about the sausage sizzle on air, haven't we? About in Australia how every election there's a sausage sizzle. A sausage sizzle's like a braai in Africa. It's a barbecue, but you only cook sausages on it, sausages and onions, and you make
put it on Wonder Bread.
On Wonder Bread, yes, with tomato sauce.
I literally just spit dried pineapple out of my mouth.
But of course,
and my own stupid joke.
But of course, every polling station has a sausage sizzle. So when you walk in once. You go to the polling booth. You walk in. You do your vote, which takes forever because you got to count between 1 and 500 fucking candidates, and you got to number them all. So you do all of that because we have preferential.
Are any of them not fucking?
Well, not when I was there.
I'm not going to stop.
Not when I was there, but I can't speak for what happened after I left. There might have been quite a show. I don't know, right? But not when I was there.
I don't apologize. I regret nothing.
And then when you leave, of course, you walk out the other door, and then you walk into the sausage sizzle area. And as they say, if your polling booth doesn't have a sausage sizzle, find another polling booth because there's plenty of them. So. That's never really a problem. Most suburbs have about 4, something like that. So there's always plenty.
That's going to be my motto for life. If there's no sausage sizzle, I'm going to find another place.
That's right.
I can't speak anymore.
So when you go to vote,
2 Cosmos and the Malbec at dinner.
And
I've been eating this pineapple.
The pineapple.
I'm addicted to this pineapple.
So describe this pineapple you're eating.
Well. I had to post it on Twitter because my kid cracked me up. Yes, he called it the mummified corpses of senselessly chunked pineapples. I just died. Now I can only think of that, and I just want to keep eating it. I don't know. It's dehydrated pineapple. It's like candied pineapple, kind of. It's just slightly dried, so the sugars come out, and it's kind of coating the outside of it, but it makes it tender but not juicy anymore. I don't know. I'm addicted to it. It's like crack. I'm not addicted to crack.
No. Do the wrong. What's the?
I am addicted to this pineapple. What is this like crack?
What is what is an Anchorman 2, the Ron Burgundy thing, where they decide, well, we're going to smoke crack on air. And it's like, turns out you can't smoke crack on air. Oh my god, that was a funny film. Anchorman 2. That really was a funny film. I love the bit where he goes blind and he's living in the lighthouse. And he talks about nobody knows what it's like to be blind. He said the other day, he drank an entire bottle of tomato ketchup, not realising it wasn't Merlot. Something like that. And the other one goes, but didn't you realise when you tasted it? He said, I decanted it. Oh my God! Anyway.
You know what? Though? I've never seen the second one.
Haven't you?
I've never seen the second one.
Oh
no!
The second one, the second one, I think, is actually in many ways funnier than the first.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Let me tell you something. I never want to like his movies. I never do, and I always laugh my ass off. I have to tell you that I think that Eurovision. Might have been one of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time. And I know it was goofy, but I laughed so hard throughout that movie, out loud so many times I would not have expected it. It was so much funnier than I thought it was going to be. I don't know.
But it was...
I don't want to like his movies.
I know what you mean. It's like there is some... Yes, I know. Don't worry. I know what you mean. But that Eurovision movie that gave us something. It was in 2020. We had no Eurovision, and so but we got this offering from Will Ferrell. And the thing was that yes, it took the piss out of Eurovision, and yes, it was a comedy. But at the same time, it was also a love letter to Eurovision. You know, it paid it respect while laughing at it. And there's no reason why you can't laugh. If you're not laughing at Eurovision, there's something wrong with you. You're meant to laugh at it, right? So,
and I'm sorry, Rachel McAdams is so beautiful in that movie, and just I know that like that wasn't her voice singing.
It's not her
stuff,
voice,
but
no.
Just overall though, I just thought she was so gorgeous and so funny through the whole thing. And Pierce Brosnan as his dad. Oh, it was just really funny.
I said, you must go back.
It doesn't take that much to abuse me.
You must go back. And he says, but how? Turn the boat around. No, we cannot lose a day's fishing. You must swim. I mean,
spoiler.
I think
don't give it away.
I think people have seen it by now. But oh my God!
If they haven't, they should, because it was funny. I swear to God, though, my favorite part, though, and because I've teased you about the Fae before, was literally oh no, the elves went too far. It was just too much. I lost it. I cried. Oh, it was so funny.
But I love the way you just hear the door go slam. There's this
my God!
It's just so. Oh, it looks.
It's good to leave this here in case you need to commit any more murders. I'm giving it away too.
But I love it too when the woman in it, who gets murdered at the start, the singer who's meant to represent Iceland. Now that is actually who is singing the song at the end. That's actually her, is my understanding. She's a very famous, she's a very famous Icelandic singer.
That's a fantastic.
So that's kind of a cameo, is my understanding.
Beautiful.
And but I love it. She's there, and she's the ghost or the spirit, and she turns up right at the end, and she's missing body parts, and she's still smouldering and stuff like that. And she's standing there, and she goes, "Now they're trying to kill you to stop this." And she goes, "I've already worked that out. We worked that out half an hour ago in the plot. Where have you been? I thought you were a ghost. I thought you knew everything."
She's a little late to the party.
But the American tourists though. I love them in their Mini Cooper, and they get him there, and he goes, "Thank you for getting there. Thank you for saving me and getting me to Eurovision on time. By the way, I still hate you."
They were douches.
But at the very end, it's like, "Thank you for coming to the concert. You're not welcome, but thank you for coming."
Go away. I hate all of you. Yeah. I'm not going to do that accent again. That was
I can't do it either. I can't do that. But
that was no dialect from me.
I did hear him actually say, Will Ferrell actually say that there is no way known he would have made it any differently, because he said his wife would have fucking left him. Right, if he hadn't have showed enough respect, because of course his wife's Swedish. She's a big Eurovision fan.
Right.
And
that was so fun.
So yeah,
admit it.
Well, he actually said he actually saw Eurovision for the very first time with his wife and his wife's family in Sweden, and he said he just couldn't believe it. And he said the whole country stops, for this show, and it's
I didn't know anything about it till you told me, and if you told me that movie wasn't that far off, and I was like, wow, okay, I need to see this. We actually don't get it here.
Yeah, there must be a way to watch it this year. There must be a way in America to be able to watch it.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Now with all the streaming services, you'd think it would be.
You would hope so.
But I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out. Anyway, this is providing we get one this year. I mean, I'm hoping we do, because it's normally the end of May. It's not that far away.
Maybe like MegaCon here, they'll push it till the end of August or something.
Well, it's not happen in summer, obviously. Just you can't hold a Eurovision, when in the middle of a Norwegian winter. That's not really going to work. So
you're right. It's difficult.
Yeah. So
I'm
hoping
most of it's held indoors. So
but
make the travel less convenient.
But you also, the Germans still have the big Eurovision parties in Munich, and where they put up the giant screens in the parks, and everyone goes to the parks and watches it in the parks. And we
did they release the 99 Luftballons? I'm sorry.
Why not?
I'm not, though. I'm not sorry.
As Captain Kirk goes
It was terrible, and I'm not sorry. It had to be said. It was a moral imperative. But I don't know for whose morality, but
well, actually, here you
mine.
go. Do you reckon? And it's just insane. Before I say this too, I'm really, really scared this year because I think Australia is going to do so bad. We're going to be ZTC bottom. We are going to be nil point.
Colonel Clank impression? Is that your Colonel Clank?
No. Well, kind of. But yes, nil point. Because that's always 0 points. Nil point. And you never want to hear that.
Nil point.
And nil point. And the problem is, because of course Eurovision is always held half in English, half in French. So that's why they always. Have you seen bits of it though, haven't you? No, you really haven't seen a full year. Okay, so the thing to remember is that the hosts, they will say something and then they will say it again in French. Then they'll say something, they'll say it again in French.
Oh, that will help my language skills.
Yeah, they don't. Providing you want to learn French, they don't.
I am learning French.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Warren, you don't listen to me. I am currently learning French and Welsh, and I'm refreshing my German, and my Spanish is really crappy, so I'm trying to kind of refresh that at the same time. So,
I'm sorry. I must
that.
have been very drunk when you told me that, because I don't remember. I'm so sorry.
God.
I know it's
You've
a God.
never taken interest in me.
Bloody men. They never listen. They never listen. They just don't, do they? They just never listen. Men.
No.
What did I tell you? Men. Oh. No, sorry.
Nobody hears my frequency.
I was about to say I was going to
just tune it out.
I was going to turn it into a Monty Python sketch then. It's like, man.
Oh, don't do that.
No, sorry, no.
No, it just reminded me of a Joni Mitchell song, though.
Oh.
You turn me on the radio. One of her old ones. You don't know that one. I told you to listen to some of her music, and you haven't yet.
No, I haven't.
I know.
I haven't.
I told you. I sent you links, and you didn't listen.
I've had a very busy week.
Because?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your very busy life.
No, well, that's...
I know.
No. That's like when someone... It's actually a little bit like when somebody says, I've got to get up early in the morning. It means they're not... No, it's not actually that true. That's not actually true at all. No, because I'm telling you right now, you haven't sent me the links. That's why I haven't. You actually haven't sent me the links. That is
not true, Warren.
No, you
haven't. I texted you stuff about it. Oh, not the links. You're right. I sent you the name, and you didn't look it up. Either
Sorry.
album.
I was waiting for the links. I'm so lazy. I was very lazy.
You
My
are a
bad.
lying son of a bitch.
I'm not going to win this one. I'll just give up now.
No, you are not.
I know. Well, I'm never
I'm
going
going
to
to
win.
stomp my feet. Well, that's because I'll never stop playing. That's the problem. The game will never end.
But anyway, I was saying that I am very scared this year because I'm going to change the subject. Otherwise, I'm going to be totally made to feel like shit. Otherwise. Anyway, I'll make up for it later. Australia is going to do so badly this year because we are sending the act from hell. I can't remember what her name is. The song is not very good. Her whole performance, it's half clown and half frilled lizard. I don't know how to describe it. She looks like she's wearing you know those ruffles that they used to wear in the Tudor days in Europe. You know those big ruffles around their necks.
The ruffs? Yeah, the ruffs.
Ruffs, yeah, sorry. So she got a giant one of those on with her face painted up like a half clown, half lizard, and it's just like, I don't know where the fuck you're going with this. I really don't. I mean, it's meant to be a personal...
everybody's got their gimmick.
Well,
everybody has...
It's meant to be a personal story of loss and stuff. Maybe the other thing, too, is that by the time the SBS get their hands on it, they throw, couple of $100,000 at it, they'll turn it into something, quite different, and then I'll sit back and go, wow, so we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see.
Maybe she's proud that she speaks Parseltongue. You don't know. Sorry.
Oh, dearie me.
One, that was obnoxious of me, of course. And two, I had to throw in a Harry Potter reference because I'm such a huge geek. So, yeah, you're welcome, America.
What are we talking about? With Eurovision, we're going into something. I can't remember what it was. We were moving to something.
I don't know.
I was about to say audience.
Earlier you were talking about...
Anyone in the audience?
Food crushing videos. Food crushing. Wait, what?
What? I don't know. Just asking the audience.
They can't answer you. You don't post this until a week from now.
Well, it's
I'll have to shave my legs again before this gets posted.
The last couple have taken a while. I have to admit they have taken a while.
Well, that was probably partially my fault because you probably were not sure what was said and had to go back through them.
Kind of, yeah. Just needed to be sure everyone, was going to be all right.
Did you bleep me? You know I'm never going to listen.
No, I don't.
I'm never going to listen.
I don't bleep anyone.
You could go in and put pop-up comments, and I would never know. Like the director's cut of you whispering. Irish at this point had 4 Cosmos and was getting obnoxious. But
how would you do an audio commentary on an audio show? That would be really fucking interesting how you would do that.
You think I couldn't do it?
Has anyone ever actually done that?
I do it while you're talking all the time.
Has anyone ever actually done that? An audio commentary to an audio?
Know.
I
don't know.
I don't know.
They could have, but if we did it, then somebody would have for sure, and we'd know it because we would have.
I don't think anyone's done it because it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't fucking work. I mean,
Oh, that sounds like a challenge to me.
Okay, I'll put the challenge out there.
That's what I said. That's what somebody said to me when they handed me the Kama Sutra once. They turned out to be right.
Oh. Fuck me. Don't make me destroy another computer. I had a mouth...
And it just didn't work out.
I had a mouthful of drink then, and it's... Oh, my God. Oh, wow. We all know how Warren destroyed his first computer. Oh, Jesus. I almost did it again. Oh, dear. Now,
I'm not sorry. That's my new catchphrase.
Oh, my God. Now I've just forgotten. There was actually a topic I was going to bring up. Now I can't remember what the hell it was. After all of that, I just can't remember what it was now, and it's not written down. Elevator music. Oh, dearie me, I cannot remember what it was now. Yes, yes, I remembered. Okay, that's good. There we go. Alzheimer's hasn't quite hit me yet. It's coming.
Good, because I can't stop thinking about pineapples. This is fucking crazy.
Pineapple,
Get this away from me.
Okay.
Oh my God.
All right, okay. So, not talking about pineapple. I finished
I'm
another...
going to get diabetes.
I finished another...
What?
From eating... Anyway, the dead remnants of once the proud pineapple people, cut down in their prime of life, slaughtered, cannibalized, eaten. One day...
Well, they were like beef jerky.
It's like... One day, the pineapple resistance will rise. They're waiting. They're just waiting, to find their moment. Every now and again, we just see a...
I told you. I do not feel pity for them.
We see a spray...
It is self-defense.
We see a spray cam image of a pineapple on a brick wall, just to know that they're still there. They're waiting. The resistance is building. They will have their revenge. They're just waiting for...
Is it because they were put on pizza?
They're just waiting for 3 dashes and a dot. Or is it 3 dots and a dash to know that victory is coming?
There has to be like...
There has to be like 3 dots and a dash?
Fracture in the pineapple community. Some that really believe that they belong on pizza, and others who believe that that's an abomination.
We'll have free pineapple and Vichy pineapple. And they can decide,
oh my God.
They can decide on the control of the pineapple people, but of course the free pineapples will be living in exile with the apples, waiting.
I think we created a new Adult Swim show.
But the apples will be waiting until the pomegranates they bomb the oranges, and then the oranges will join in, and then the apples will be happy.
Those seedy bastards.
Yeah. And then they'll be happy, because then the pineapples will know that the oranges and the apples will one day land on the beaches of pineapple, and help them liberate.
Gone off on a tangent.
Sorry.
On a tangerine. I missed the opportunity.
It just reminds me of it reminds me of a story I wrote when I was in
getting
primary
high in
school.
college.
No, it was in primary school. It was called Attack of the Killer Letter C.
That was funny.
Right, this is Attack of the... No, this is no joke. Just the letter C, right? And I drew a picture of a letter C holding a rifle, and there was this story about how the letter C revolted against the rest of the alphabet and tried to take over the alphabet.
C.
And I was actually drawn into the headmaster's office to explain what is this essay. Like, they couldn't, like...
Did you tell him you were on LSD the whole time?
Well, because I don't know how old I would have been, 7 years old or something like that. And I had to admit that I got the idea while watching Sesame Street. Because the letters would come to life.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I had to...
I remember that.
And I said, it is kind of my idea, but I kind of stole it a bit from Sesame Street. And yeah, so it was a bit of my past when I got hauled in for a please explain.
Now we know where our deviancy comes from. I blame
Sesame Street. Yes,
entirely.
Jim Henson is responsible for it all.
Have you ever seen anybody go full Muppet? It's not pretty.
Full Muppet. So that's now reminding me of a certain scene from a certain movie about.
I'm sure, yes.
You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
No,
I know.
I do. But we actually going full Muppet was a thing for real because
was it?
Have you ever seen Kermit when he would like lose his shit and he would throw his hands all up in the air? and his head and his mouth would be wide open, and he would just like lose it.
Oh, that's
going.
Oh, when he does that, yeah. Okay.
That's like to just completely lose it. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. He did. He had this amazing ability to literally crack his skull in half when he laughed, didn't he? And it's like, they were kind of crazy, weren't they? Like, yeah, he was a frog who was, having an affair with a pig. And there was...
Well, and it was I sometimes wondered if it was a consensual affair, because I feel like she was a stalker.
Well,
like Miss Piggy, I felt like was a stalker.
I still...
And like she forced him into this relationship because he was weak.
Oh, yeah. Like, there's a great scene in, is it Family Guy? Where suddenly you see Miss Piggy and Kermit are at home, and you see this creature in the cot, which is half pig, half frog, just going, "Kill me now! Kill me now!"
I remember that.
Yeah. It's but I still remember Fozzie Bear. What is it? Was it Wowza? Howza? I can't remember when he used to do that.
Wacko, wacko, wacko.
Oh, wacko, wacko, wacko. Yeah.
Wacko, wacko, yeah.
Yeah, but I did love that scene in the movie when the Kermit and Fozzie are driving the car, singing. That was I still reckon that's a classic piece of cinema.
Right along with two birds of a feather. That one. We're in this together.
That's it.
And we know where we're going. Movie stars with flashy cars with lights with the top down. We're storming the big town. Yeah, storm is right. Should it be snowing? I remember this whole thing.
But that was great because to me that was a Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, like love letter. And you remember those movies, or a Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, The Road to. The Road to movies and stuff. And
Family Guy did those takeoffs too on that.
Yes.
Yeah, that the Muppet movie, the original one, the Rainbow Connection song was the first song I ever sang on stage with my dad. I was like 12 years old. And he was playing solo at a beach bar down in Naples, Florida. And he called me up there to sing it. And that was actually terrifying and kind of cool. But that was the song that I sang for the first time with him on stage. So that was kind of neat.
It's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful song.
It is a beautiful song. Yeah, it is. It is.
I really actually liked the original Muppet movie. There was something.
Yeah.
There was something very special. Yes, it really was to me. It was something the whole family really could enjoy and get something out of. And also the fact that it was like a love letter to all these other movies. I absolutely adored it. I absolutely adored it.
We got to work on a Kermit the Frog film, like a Muppet movie down here years and years ago. It was Kermit's Swamp Years. We did that movie, and actually on the wall of my office right now, we have an autographed picture from Kermit. It was actually signed to my mom at the time, so it says Patty on it. But it was from Kermit the Frog, and then this year on The Masked Singer, he was the first person voted off in the suit. It was Kermit the Frog.
Really?
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh my god!
And stupid. That show's so stupid, I love it.
I've never seen it. Do you know? I've never actually seen it. Do you know? I only ever heard about it because there were two things. There's another redhead that I'm absolutely in love with, Lena Katina. Lena Katina from Russia. Who's if anyone doesn't know who Lena Katina is, you probably will remember a girl band she used to be in called Tattoo. I think a lot of people have heard of Tattoo.
Perhaps.
Not even heard of Tattoo? Okay, all right. But anyway,
nobody out there.
Anybody? The audience? Anybody? But
it's not a live audience.
I keep forgetting. Okay, but
I only have the corpses of pineapple chunks.
Okay. Well, they can cheer. Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Oh my god, I can't stop.
And she was in the Russian version of the Masked Singer. That's why I kind of heard about the Masked Singer. And then I do remember it got onto the news because I think Lindsay Lohan was out in Australia doing the Masked Singer. Yeah.
Really? Because they keep guessing her on This American one. She hasn't been on yet.
Really? So,
Yes.
but I believe that but I've never watched it. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't even know how the show works, to be honest.
Well, they keep kind of mixing up the competition side of it, but it was, I guess, a Korean show originally.
Right.
And very popular over there. And they brought it to America. And yeah, it's stupid. Okay, it is. But sometimes it is fun to try to guess who's behind it. And it's going to be like old stars, like B-list stars, or even like big name stars and singers that you haven't heard of in a long time, or that are getting really old and they don't have an opportunity to get out there. They've had some really great, like legendary singers on there. But then there's also people that you wouldn't expect, like some YouTubers and just some other kind of social media presence people that we go, who the fuck is that? Like if you didn't know those people for a specific reason, you wouldn't know them. But it's still fun. And this season, I can tell you one, as soon as this person opened their mouth, and all the costumes are always different. Okay, so they dress up in weird things, and I can't even remember now what this one was. But as soon as this person opened their mouth, I knew immediately who it was. I said, oh my God, that's Machete. It was Danny Trejo. And there was no way anybody was going to tell me different. As soon as he opened his mouth, and yes, absolutely, it turned out to be Danny Trejo. So I felt pretty good about myself on that, even though I couldn't figure out why nobody else could figure out that was Danny Trejo's voice. I'm not like, I haven't watched his films a million times or anything, but it's so distinctive. Like, and if you're a fan of American Gods, the show on Stars, which I think I heard just got canceled, and I'm going to be kind of bummed about. Yeah, I think so. But if you've seen that, even in this most recent season, I mean, you've seen him on it. I think he's been in like everything, like practically. But they give you clues, and you try to guess as they sing, and their voices are disguised unless they're singing. So, but I knew it was him. Because I'm smart like that. And I know who the Russian dolls are, too. Even though they haven't come out yet instead. But I'm just going to say right now, I'm going to put it out there. Yep. I believe definitely that it's Hanson. The group Hanson. Oh. Russian dolls. Like, you didn't... At first, it was like one person, and then it seemed like two people, because they had two dolls came out, and then there was a third one that came out. And the harmonies are so perfect. There's something about sibling harmonies. People who are related to each other... Their tones and their harmonies blend in a way that you don't with other people that aren't kind of in your family in that same range. So I'm telling you right now that the Russian dolls are going to be Hanson. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think I feel pretty good about that one.
Okay. That's not that I have any idea what you're talking about, but I can picture it. You know what I mean? I can picture it. But I know
it doesn't matter if you know. I'm going to talk anyway.
I know who Hanson is. I mean, no, look, I understand the way this show works. As I said, I've just never seen it. I understand they wear a disguise and they come out and they sing. I mean, I understand. But Hanson, are they American or Canadian? I always get confused with Hanson.
I'm not sure, actually, because most of our big actors and like big acting jobs are taken by Canadians here. People are worried about people from Mexico coming over the border, taking our jobs. I'm worried about... Are the people coming over the border from Canada, coming over and taking all our comedy jobs and our actor jobs?
But it's not just that,
some
right?
Funny motherfuckers.
This is the thing. This is not going political, but this is just a statement, as in you
Canadians.
QAnon Trumpists out there who will not be listening to this show. But if there is one, have you ever realised that the people you say keep out of our country because they're taking our jobs? You don't want Mexicans in there because they're taking jobs cleaning toilets. Oh, yeah, fuck yeah, because that was your dream job, wasn't it, cleaning toilets? The Canadians are taking your jobs as doctors, as lawyers, as fucking engineers, as all of the high-paid jobs, right? And you're
the only people complaining about that are never going to have those jobs.
Well, but that's what I mean. Maybe the Trump voter are the people cleaning the toilets. That's why they fucking hate Mexicans so much. Do you know what I mean?
Don't know, man.
I don't know. It's just a thought.
They have a real issue with melanin.
I think that's what it is too, personally. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's just the melanin.
I'll put it to this way. They have a problem with Botswana, but not with Norway. Yeah, got a feeling it's melanin. I think you're right.
Yeah,
yes, I think.
I think the melanin plays into it on some level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, actually, before I get to what I was going to talk about, I found out anyway what why Trump wanted to buy Denmark. It's all out. The story's
out.
Full
of white people.
Well, it's full of minerals to make renewables. Apparently, it's something like 50% or something deposits of the crap which is needed to make renewables. Like Greenland could be the next fucking mining magnet, but they don't want their country to get obviously dug up. And they have just recently voted in a new government which has stopped the mining.
What do you mean?
Okay, all the precious metals.
What do you mean by renewables there in that regard for mining?
There are certain... this is where the contradiction comes, right? Renewable energies need specific metals that have to be mined, okay? Not all countries have access to these metals, but places like Greenland are abound with it. Like, they're just fucking swamped with it.
Yeah.
And there are companies left, right, and centre trying to get mining rights into Greenland, not because they want to sell petrol, because they actually don't want to sell petrol. It's actually renewables that they want to sell. They need these metals to build, solar, whatever it is. These are metals that are needed to do that. Battery production, all of this sort of thing. Now, the thing is that Greenland, as in their local government, because they're kind of part of Denmark, but they are actually independent, it's kind of a bit weird, have voted in a new government which has blocked mining for all of this, okay? And it's a really interesting subject because we now know why Donald Trump wanted to buy it. Because...
But it wouldn't have been for him.
No, not for him. It would have given the United States, and I'm sure his family would have bought into it, control over all of this shit.
Yeah, well,
so very, very interesting.
He can rot in hell.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about that. But what it has brought up is a really interesting question, and that is that in order for renewables to work where we want them to be, we kind of need to do a little bit of damage in order to stop damaging. If this makes... I know that doesn't make sense. It's a little bit like...
I can understand what you're saying. You got to kind of... You have to be able to dig a little bit to get the stuff you need to keep from digging other things a lot.
It's like if you've got if you've got appendicitis, you physically have to, do surgery. So you physically got to cut the body.
I think you have to weigh... I think you have to weigh both sides of it. So, I mean, if it's going to be obvious that it's going to be beneficial to humanity to dig a little so that you can keep from, digging up petroleum and going through all the problems with the tar fields and all that shit and all the stuff that causes. And maybe it's worth a little bit of mining. But countries that have that stuff, that's their resources.
That's right.
That's not like America. We're not supposed to be looking at them going, what are our minerals doing underneath their soil? So how are we going to get it?
So it's very interesting. So the people of Greenland have spoken and they have said, no mining.
Yeah.
So that's very, very interesting. But it's not funny, it's very, very interesting. But to change the subject to something which is far more interesting than geopolitical,
sharks.
I don't know, whatever. Well, sharks. Well, yes, actually, sharks. We were talking about sharks, an animal close to my heart being an Australian, and I recently learnt, as in an hour and a half ago, close to your heart as well, which I didn't realise.
Close to my heart, as far away from my heart as possible, please. I am a huge chicken. I used to love to swim in the ocean.
Yeah.
I used to love it. I made a mermaid tail, like full size, when I was like 12, 13 years old, for me and my sister, both of us, before you could buy them online for your kid. I sewed one out of cloth and put diving fins in the bottom of it, zipped it up my side, and looked like a giant fish out there swimming around in the ocean. No problem. Flopping my tail around. Didn't care. Had no cares in the world, because at that age, nobody thinks that a shark is going to eat you. Right? Well, now I know better, because I'm a grown person who lives in a place where sharks bite people all the time. And honestly, one of the beaches that we love to go to, which is a locals beach on the eastern coast called New Smyrna, is probably it's probably the shark bite capital of the eastern United States, of the East Coast. So it's really a good place to get chomped down there. And I personally have enough scars on my legs from bike accidents when I was a kid, and you know, running and tripping and getting scabs and stuff like that I don't really want to add any kind of shark bite things to it. I got one little weird shrapnel thing in my leg from some stuff that I used to do in the Middle East a long time ago, and I'm never going back there.
I was about to say, it wasn't
like one little piece of that.
Sorry, I was about to say, it wasn't sniper fire in Bosnia, was it?
Oh, sorry, how did you know? No.
Sorry. I know Democrats will hate me for saying that, but you know, you got to roll with the punches. You got to roll with the punches. So
yeah, well, you know, when have I ever cared whether somebody was upset about something I said? Seriously, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'm sorry you're upset. I'm not sorry about what I said.
Well, no. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? Sniper fire in Bosnia.
No, I have no idea what you're
Hillary Clinton. When Hillary Clinton. Hillary
teasing
Clinton.
you.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Boom, boom.
Have we met?
Hi. Sorry.
Hi.
Okay.
We should meet, because I don't think you've met me.
Sometimes I don't know whether you're being serious or you're not. I just don't. I just think, oh, you mean you really didn't hear about that? I'm thinking, of course. It's like she probably.
I would think by now.
And then I'm thinking to myself, Warren, she probably told you about it. For fuck's sake, you know. Anyway,
probably.
Anyway,
I'm used to it.
Anyway, sharks, yes, but here's the thing, because I didn't know sharks were that a big a deal in the United States. I mean, I just didn't know they were. They are, obviously. Yeah,
and California has some bites from time to time, and they get the great whites out there. We get like sand and tiger sharks here, a lot of sand and tiger sharks mostly here, but other types too, black tips, white tips, different things. And I think that we've had some sightings of some great whites down off the coast in different places, but I'm not sure how far out or how deep it was. But we know more about the migration patterns of great whites now, so we know they kind of go everywhere when we didn't think they did. So they travel.
But they don't like the really hot water, though, don't they?
I'm just a huge baby, and I don't want to go in the water. Okay?
Oh, this sounds like the storyline, actually, of Jaws 3. To be honest, this was actually the storyline of Jaws 3. I don't go in the water because I'm scared of sharks. This was the whole story.
Well,
they
shot that at SeaWorld, some of that here.
Oh, did they? Jaws 3? Yeah,
because that whole thing with the shark tube, that was all that was all in SeaWorld here in Orlando. And the little pond in the middle that they've got is going to be like used to have this water skiing show. It used to be the Hatfields versus the McCoys, and it was like this big hillbilly water ski show. It was ridiculous. And then they put a shark in there and did the thing. So it was a horrible movie.
It is.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, first of all the Jaws movies are terrible.
I didn't say it. Okay.
Yeah.
No, the first was a good movie.
Yeah, but it did so much. It did so much environmental damage. Like apparently the oh my God, I've forgotten they were husband and wife, the Taylors, Valerie and somebody Taylor. They're Australian scuba divers. They were shark experts, and they did the wild shark filming for Jaws 1. Okay, they were actually hired to go off and find footage of sharks. And most of it was apparently the footage of underwater real shark was actually taken off the coast of West Australia and South Africa, I believe.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, just for you people's knowledge. But I saw an interview with Valerie Taylor a number of years ago. So I think she's dead. I think both of them are dead now. And she actually said that when it came time, they were rehired for Jaws 2. And she said they had much more difficulty trying to find big sharks. Like, just in the time from Jaws 1 to Jaws 2. Like, environmentally, the impact had been that big. Just between those two movies.
You can see just in the movie the way the way the people in the movie were acting about sharks, just going out and trying to slaughter whatever and throwing dynamite in the water and doing so. I mean, I'm sure that wasn't too far removed from reality sometimes.
Yeah.
Some of these, because people are nuts. But I mean, overall though, as a movie, the first Jaws is one of those that if it's on and I see it and I'm flipping through the channels, I'm probably going to stop, because just to listen to Quint's monologue about about going in the water and
wasn't he just a great orator though, Richard Shaw?
Oh my God, yeah.
I mean, just
absolutely.
his ability
Robert
to
Shaw, right? Robert
did
Shaw.
I say Richard Shaw? Sorry, Robert Shaw. Sorry,
you said Richard. Yeah.
Oh
Robert
yeah, sorry,
Shaw,
Robert Shaw. Yeah.
No, he was fantastic.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and it's still one of those movies that I showed it to my kid once, and he'll still just start singing, "Show me the way to go home." And if he does it, it's required singing. Everybody has to join in if you're there. That's required. And also, just to mention, also, if anybody says the words "the sun" at all, you are then required to sing the entire song from "They Might Be Giants." If you don't know it, learn it, because if you meet my kid, it's going to happen. And you are required to participate. So he's 21 now. I feel like it's going to be a thing for the rest of his life. But, it's fun, and it taught him science, and he still enjoys it. So, but yeah, singing is not optional.
But I mean, I never got to see Jaws 1 or Jaws 2 at the cinema. I was a bit too young to actually see them.
Oh yeah. My parents would never taken me to see that. No.
I think when Jaws 2 came out, I was like 12 or something. So it was still too young to actually see it at the cinema. Maybe I was a little bit older. I can't remember now, but I know I wasn't.
I've only ever seen it on TV.
Yeah, I've only seen it on TV. But then there is, of course, Jaws 4. Oh my God, that has to be with Sir Michael Caine of all people. But as he said, hey, Jaws 4.
The world's most one-dimensional actor besides Gene Hackman.
True. No, he is. He only has one fucking character he plays.
Yeah,
That's
Gene
it.
Hackman's the same. It's like Gene Hackman's always just Gene Hackman, no matter what.
Hugh Grant. He's always Hugh Grant, right? He just plays himself, yeah. Michael Caine is exactly the same. Although, but he's a bit like, was it Sam Jackson? Samuel L. Jackson? Well, no. I think wait, please, no. Let me wind this back a little bit.
Okay,
Sam Jackson is 100 times a better actor than Sir Michael Caine. All right, in my opinion, Sam Jackson is a brilliant actor. As long as he stops the shouting. I know it's a trademark, but Sam Jackson is a bit like Michael Caine in the sense that they have a work ethic that they just take every fucking role that's offered to them. And so the amount of movies they make is so huge, they are worth so much fucking money because they never stop working.
But you know what? But why not though? If you're going to be an actor,
I agree.
Why not just act?
I agree. And I've seen interviews with Michael Caine where he's basically said he views acting as a job. Like, it's a job. You turn up, you do the work. He said he doesn't understand when he sees people, who are all about, it's about the art. And he said, I get that. He said, I fully get that. Of course, he's an artist. He gets it. But at the same time, it's a job. And he grew up in absolute poverty, Michael Caine. I mean, absolute poverty. And so, he has that work ethic that even today, as he said, he works more now as a retired actor than he did when he was actually working. He's more popular now than he was back in the 60s.
I think that happens sometimes for some actors, They get a kind of a second wind in a way, and it's kind of a retro nostalgia thing in a sense, and it kind of even boosts their career a little more. I think that can happen.
Well, Sean Connery, I reckon he got Sean Connery, he was James Bond, made a whole heap of shitty films in the 70s and the 80s, and then suddenly in the 90s, everybody fell in love again with Sean Connery. He came back with a beard and a toupee, and everyone thought he was wonderful. It was. He was bald as a badger. It was a toupee. But so be it. I've got no problem with that. I
don't give a shit. People want to put a dead puppy on their head. That's their problem. Yeah. But if it got them to work, whatever.
Yeah.
My dad wore one for a while too. I don't know the depth of the despair of a man who loses their hair, like goes almost totally bald on top in their at 19, like my dad did. Okay, so I would never judge that, but I think, what movie I really liked of his, and I think it didn't do that well, or it wasn't, I don't know what, but I saw it in the theater, and it was Medicine Man. Do you remember that? It was set down in the rainforest, and
so this is Sean Connery we're talking about.
Yeah, Sean Connery, yeah. And he had a long ponytail at that point.
Don't really remember.
He was an older man at that point.
I don't remember it, to be truthful.
He was playing like a scientist that was down in the rainforest looking for the cure for cancer. And he was looking for it in the botany and the animal life and insect life in the rainforest, searching for it there. And they had actually found a compound that was curing tumors, but it was made by these particular ants. And the forest was being cut down, and they couldn't find it again. And it was just this really cool movie at the time. I think it was from the 80s. But I enjoyed it in a way that I would have never thought at the time I would have liked a movie like that, per se. But I enjoyed that one. So if you get a chance to watch it, it's probably one of his lesser-known films. But I really liked it. I know he was probably a vile man. But
Sean Connery. Well, it's a very interesting thing. I mean, a lot of
us are vile.
Well, look, a lot of people have a go at him endlessly because of an interview he had. Was it with Jessica Walters?
Barbara Walters?
Barbara Walters. Sorry, Jessica Walters is an actress from Archer who died actually just recently.
Yeah.
You're
right.
I'm confusing the two of them.
Mallory.
Played Mallory. So that's going to be interesting with her passing, how that show moves on too. Because she was wonderful. But Barbara Walters, yes, where Sean Connery is you look it up on YouTube. Famously, in an interview, said it was okay to hit a woman as long as you use the back of your hand and not a fist. And the problem was when asked about it later on, he doubled down and said, yes, I stand by my comments and so forth. However, there's no examples of Sean Connery beating any women up or anything like that. I mean, it's still a horrible concept, but...
I think the thing is that people were horrified by maybe the concept that that's where his mind was.
Yes.
Even if that he thought that was acceptable behavior. Now, look, I'm not going to say that if some woman is beating the shit out of you, you don't have the right to backhand her. I say you do that.
That's not what he was saying. Though. He was
different.
saying what he was basically saying is that women are allowed to slap men, therefore men should be allowed to slap women. That was basically what he was saying, and in a sense, it was a very an equal ideology,
it's
but It's not equal at all. You don't touch a fucking woman, full stop. We can live in a world of total equality, but I'm sorry, you'd never, ever fucking touch a woman.
Here's what I'd like to see.
You just don't do
Here's what I'd like to see, and I'm just going to put this out there, and y'all can tell me I'm crazy or whatever. I'd like to see everybody keep their motherfucking hands to themselves. Like, don't hit anybody.
Well, actually, that would actually be the perfect world.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not going to happen.
But
maybe we shouldn't go around hitting people. Maybe. Now, that being said, I do encourage punching Nazis in the face full on.
But this is the problem. But this is the problem, isn't it? Like,
because they're not really people, are they?
Well, no, they're not. They're not. They're not really humans. You know, they're approaching the garden gnome variety. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about.
All right, settle down.
Don't worry, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Don't worry. Don't worry. No, I'm not going to say it. Don't worry. Yeah, you're not. Anyway. No, yeah, of course I believe that punching a Nazi in the nose is absolutely acceptable. But at the same time, I do know that in a modern society, if we... Like, for instance, there is that argument, you know, which has been around for a while, and that is that as long as someone is going to punch someone in the face for looking at their girlfriend in the wrong way, you're always going to have war. And there is... Look, actually, I don't actually believe that to be true because I believe societies are bigger than that and they can actually control that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think that it's the boys who have a problem with that.
Oh,
for the most part. I'm not going to say I haven't seen some girls fall off and knock the shit out of another girl looking at their man.
You want to come to Australia then. The chick fights, yeah. Women...
Does it happen in Jell-O or mud?
No. I don't worry, I'm not going to get drawn into that because I'll get myself into trouble. So I'm not getting into that, right? I can still remember. I'll admit to this, and if people want to fucking hate me for it, they can. I can still remember on cable TV. This is about 10 years. Oh, more than that, 15 years ago. We used to get in Australia the honey wrestling from Kiev, Ukraine. Right? And it was on a Friday night, and it was the honey wrestling. These women would go into a vat of honey and fight, and it was on TV. It was on fucking TV. It was on free-to-air TV, right? I can still, I still remember this is one girl called Golden Ringlet, and the show was done a bit like, do you remember Iron Chef? In fact, we spoke about Iron Chef, I think, on the other show.
Yes.
And it was done a bit like that, where what they would do is they would dub over the Ukrainian commentary, and they would put an English commentary on it. Now, I don't know who did it, but yes, they would put on a fake accent. You know, it's like, oh, welcome to Kiev, Ukraine, you know, and they would do that sort of thing. But I still remember, always, there was this favourite who would come out. She was like the stone cold Steve Austin. You know, she was like this. but in Ukraine, she was, and now comes the crowd favourite, Golden Ringlet. Golden Ringlet, show us what you are made of, you amazing piece of womanhood. And, but I have to admit, I did watch it. You know, so, but anyway, we're all allowed our little, I'm sorry, you know. You always
Don't
hoping,
be sorry.
You were just always sitting there hoping there would be a bikini malfunction, you know, while it was going on. But anyway, it was a long time ago. I'm sorry, okay? But
why are you sorry? You're sorry that it was a long time ago?
No, because I know it's, I know it's wrong. You're not, but then again, this is what I don't understand. It's like,
Jesus Christ, Warren. Those women were out there doing that themselves. They chose that, I guess. I mean, I'm going to assume they did. I don't know what's going on in the Ukraine, so maybe not.
Well,
but for the most part, the women who do that stuff do it because they decide they want to do it. But, I don't have a fucking problem with that. Well, and I don't have any problem with men looking at women doing it, or women looking at women doing it, or women looking at men doing it, or I don't give a shit who's looking at who doing what.
Well,
I don't care.
Well, this is the whole
so you
thing.
Don't have to apologize to me.
I feel bad sometimes. It's a bit like Friday night. It's like 11 o'clock at night.
You raised Catholic.
Oh, I'm going to watch... No, I wasn't going to watch the Ukrainian honey wrestling, right? And but then again... You know, Amanda would go off to the strippers on a Saturday night with the girlfriends, What's the kind of the difference? You know, I mean, there really shouldn't be a difference. You know, I mean, Magic Mike, I think, came out, what was it, 2000 or something? You know, that's all about, you know, women ogling, you know, men and stuff like that. But,
you know, I've never been to one of those shows. I've never had any interest in going to one of those shows. No.
Okay.
I don't understand, like, the concept of it. I mean, I understand the concept. I understand people are out there doing it, but I don't get what the big deal would be. I just, like, I don't know. I don't need to have it shoved in my face in public like that on a dance stage to, like, I don't get that.
Do you know I've only like, ever been
just come over and we'll do that. You don't need that on the stage.
I've only ever been to a there were in Melbourne. They have these. They don't have like strip shows. What are they? Tabletop dancing clubs.
Okay.
I think they call them gentlemen's clubs. Although they're full of fucking women. This is the thing that's amazing. You go in there, they're full of women, right?
Yeah. And, oh my God.
No. I mean, as in. Yeah. Women go to these things.
The women are all in those clubs.
And also husband and wives and boyfriends and girlfriends, they go as a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's kind of weird.
You sound shocked.
Well, the thing I found about it, I'll be really truthful with you, is I found it really boring. Because it's because here's the thing. If you, I don't know, if you see someone that you're kind of attracted to naked, your eyes are going to be drawn to them. But when you're surrounded by it, it just becomes a bit like, whatever. It's the best way I can describe this is a strip club is a bit like going to an Australian beach. When you've got 20% of the women on the beach, but I'm talking about an Australian beach here. I'm not talking about probably France and that would be the same. But when you go to a beach and 20% of the women are topless, it's just like, whatever, right? It's not it doesn't register anymore because everybody's doing it. And I found a strip club was a bit like that because there's 20 tables with 20 women. It's a bit like, right? I don't know if that made sense. It probably doesn't.
Well, I mean, I guess. I mean, it doesn't mean, though, that I don't like to go browse in a candy store from time to time.
Well,
I mean,
of course not.
That's just like, it doesn't mean you have to buy things or, you know, taste or sample the candy. You're just kind of looking. It doesn't mean that, you know, I don't know. You don't have to enjoy one particular candy for anything. It's kind of like an overall experience of being in the candy store, I guess.
I'll tell you what.
I'm not speaking from experience, of course, because honestly, and clearly, I have never ever been thrown out of the best strip clubs in Orlando from trying to get their dancers to come work on a show. Never has that happened, ever. To play that game, never have I ever.
Never have I ever.
I would lose it right now. I would lose that. Been thrown out of the best strip clubs in Orlando from trying to get their girls to come out and work as Thunder Girls on Thunder in Paradise or shows like that.
Well, I think I can say this. I can say this is not. Amanda used to work in. This is before I met her, though. Right? Used to work when she was young. When she was like 18, whatever, as a tabletop dancer. She used to do that sort of stuff. And she said that used to have people come in all the time from the TV networks, and what they were actually, or like they were trying to get, or not, they weren't actually from the TV networks. They were trying to get groups of people where if they were making TV shows, and it's a little bit like we need, girl 3, 4, and 5 to be topless in the scene when whatever is happening.
Well, yeah, that's
right, and they were trying, and they said they were coming in all the time, so no, I have absolutely nothing against, or I don't want anyone to think that. I mean, Jesus Christ, if anyone knows me, I've got nothing against any of that stuff, but I just found it personally, I just found it dull. Maybe it was just sensory overload.
Well, you know why? Because you have a hot girl at home And you didn't need to be in the strip clubs like that looking at those girls because you had a girl like that at home at the time. Maybe not everybody does.
Yeah,
and maybe not everybody...
I had my own stripper at home. Yeah, there is that.
There you go.
Yeah, there is that. Oh, yeah, there is that. There is that.
Yeah, so it was just blasé to you. That was everyday stuff.
Mind you, this was before
Warren.
This was before the two of us met. This was before the two of us met, though. That actually does show you how long it's been since I've been to a strip club. I think actually when I went to a strip club, I could literally tell you it probably would have been. Oh my God! I would have been in my early 20s. I mean, that's how long ago.
That's a long time ago.
Oh, fuck yeah. We're talking 30 years, 29, 28 years. It's a long time. Long bloody time since I've been in a strip club. And they're probably nothing like what they are now. You know what I mean? My idea of what they're like.
pretty much just like what they were.
Really? Here's the thing we couldn't understand. Have I told you the story
Better
about
lighting systems?
Well, no. Have I told you the story about the green money? Have I told you this story?
No.
If you don't remember it, okay. I still remember when we went in, and there was a couple of us, and anyway, so we were standing because we refused to sit at the table because we just. I still remember myself and one other friend said, we are not fucking sitting at one of those tables while these women... We're just not doing that. We'll sit at the bar. So we sat at the bar, which had the rugby played on a widescreen TV, right? It was playing the rugby.
What the hell were you doing in the strip club then?
What's the thing? We spent more time watching the fucking rugby than we did watching the strippers in the end. And we're just sitting there, right? So we're sitting there having drinks at the bar, and it was a little bit like bit of rugby, bit of boob, bit of rugby, a few more boobs. You know what I mean? It was a bit like that. But we wouldn't sit at the tables. But anyway, we noticed all these guys were at the tables, and girls, and girls at the fucking table. This is the thing we couldn't get. We could not fucking grasp how many women were in there. And anyway, and the money was all green. Right, and because Australian money's not green, it's like every note is a different colour. So we've got some are red, some are green, some are brown, some are pink, some are purple. You know, like they're all different colours.
And colours of Benetton. Okay.
Basically, yes. So in other words, a 5 is red, a 10 is green, a 20 is orange, a 50 is brown, a 100 is. Haven't fucking remember anymore. But anyway, this is how long since I've seen. I stopped using cash 10 years ago, so I can't really tell you. I live in a cashless society now. It's not. I digress.
It's an unimportant detail when you're talking about strippers.
But anyway, so we saw. God, I'm stretching this story on as long as I can. The money was all green, and we couldn't work it out. And we looked at each other, and there were a lot of. And a lot of these guys were probably in their 20s, and we're going, oh, we wonder if they're American servicemen and they're giving them American notes. Because we couldn't work out why are they getting green money. And then we found out that you don't give them real cash. What happens is when you walk in, you buy notes. So,
oh, Lord.
So in other words, you go and buy $51 notes, which is fake money, and then you give the strippers the fake, and then you give the strippers the fake money, and then they cash the money in at the end of the night, right? And because of course the money isn't, because of course $1 isn't worth $1. Oh no, it has nothing to do with that. I think that's the way that they take their commissions out. So they will sort of say, "Oh right, well we only pay you 80% because we take 20% for the house or." Something like that. I remember Amanda told me sort of like about the way it worked. They would take commissions, and there was also all this stuff too about whether you want to claim your. They were very big on tax evasion. I don't know whether they still are. I really couldn't tell you.
I'm sure that's probably par for the course.
but there was this thing that is a little bit like. I'll put it to you this way: if you were the tax department in Australia. Back then, strip clubs only ever hired about 3 strippers, right? Oh. Because the other 200 didn't pay fucking tax. I don't know how they.
Okay.
I don't know how they got around it or anything, but that was.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, I
I
don't want
just
to
know that you didn't want to go in when the afternoon girls were on stage. You know, the one with the bullet holes and stuff, like the scars. Like you just didn't want to go in during the afternoon.
I've heard those stories of Las Vegas. It's like you go into a strip club, you know, you're pissed out of your brain. You've been living on whiskey for 2 days straight, and you walk in and you meet a woman with fresh scars on her face, and you raise your glass and go, I just met the woman I'm gonna marry.
Oh my God.
You know,
let me tell you this story when I went to Vegas for the second time, okay? Because the first time I went to Vegas, I was so overwhelmed because I'd never been anywhere like that. All I did was spend 4 days wandering through the hotels, looking at all of them, and eating at a bunch of buffets. And let me just say the Wynn buffet is by far the best. And, oh my God, it's wonderful. But the second time I went, I was a little more adventurous and went with someone down to Fremont Street and from the Strip. And we went down there, and on our way back, you know, it's a little way from the Strip, so you got to take a cab or something like that. Now I think they probably have the monorail system running, but back then you had to take a cab. So it was really late, and we're coming back from Fremont Street back up toward the Strip, and we get in the cab, and the cab driver's like, hey, how you doing? And we're like, oh, we're really good. And then they handed me over the back of the seat from them this big, thick book. And it was like a photo album kind of thing, right? And I open it up, and it's filled with hookers. Like, literally like a menu.
Okay.
And because prostitution is legal outside of the city limits of Las Vegas, just like right out the outskirts. But they do have, I guess, apparently, people will come to your hotel or something, which I've heard some stories about. I did not partake, however, but I did, like marvel in the concept of being able to just, like, browse for a lady to come to your room or a dude or whatever it was, you know, whatever you were in the mood for. There it was in a menu, handed right to you in a cab ride up to your hotel. And I thought, this is America. This is America, and I can be proud of this place.
Well, prostitution's been legal in Australia for about 40 years, right? There's
nothing wrong with that stuff. I just thought it was great to get the menu. Like, really?
Yeah. No. You can.
And I did.
No, you just in Australia, you just get the phone book. All the brothels are in the phone book. They're all in there. But it's interesting you mention this. Actually, your timing's amazing because this week.
You were this just week,
this week. No.
I wouldn't judge you.
Yeah,
like,
no,
I just
Charlene.
some time, man.
In
the show.
Sorry, just one second. Bye, Charlene. Thank you. Oh, money's on the fridge.
No,
all right.
I think you've gone too far.
Sorry. All right.
It's too far.
Sorry.
No.
But so prostitution is sorry. Bad joke. Anyway, prostitution is quite legal in Australia. This is male or female, all right? It doesn't make any difference. Has been legal in Australia for about 40 years, okay? Now, but there is a difference. It must be run by the government, okay? Prostitution is all run by the government. So this is something that I know some Americans would find very strange. Prostitution is fucking government regulated, which it is.
Regulated is one thing, but run is a different concept.
Well, not run, but it's regulated. They have to work within the laws.
Regulated is fine.
Yeah. Sure. And they have to get inspections. So a government agent will turn up once every 3 weeks and walk through the establishment and will go and check everything is up to standards and they will go and check
like everything,
like the HIV tests of all the workers, right? And all the rest of it, right?
So, I hope other things as well.
So all of this is totally done within the law. But here's the difference. Prostitution outside of an establishment, like outside of a building, is still illegal. So if you, even though escorts, well, they work the world over, right? But technically they're still illegal. The government has just never tried to do anything about it. They've just sort of said, what are you going to do,
Well,
right?
I mean,
So they've never really worried about it.
Right? Who's it hurting?
Right, okay. But now what they're saying is that it's time to regulate it. So in other words, we're not going to ban it. Don't worry about that. Escorts will still be, will be legal and all the rest of it. But escorts will now have to get a license or something. A license. They will have to do HIV testing. They will have to do, all of this sort of thing. And it's going up into Parliament, I think, in the next few weeks. So that's going to be interesting.
It's providing a service. I don't have a problem with government putting regulations to provide a service that keeps people safer when using that service.
I'll put it to you this way. When prostitution became legal in Australia, as I said, it was about 40 years ago or something like that. Mm-hmm. Do you know within 2 years, the divorce rate halved in Australia? No, this is not actually a joke. That's actually true. I'm being deadly serious.
I believe
literally,
you.
Yeah. And here's the thing too.
I am not scoffing at
the
statistics.
Sexually transmitted diseases in Australia plummeted. As in medical, in the doctors and the hospitals and all the rest of it, plummeted. Absolutely plummeted. Because, violence against female sex workers plummeted. Why?
Wow.
Because you couldn't beat up a sex worker anymore, because there was a 6'5" Maori with a baseball club sitting in the room across the hall. And if anything was going to go wrong, he would be in there to defend the woman. So
that does happen, but they call those pimps here, and sometimes that doesn't go so well.
No. These are not pimps. These are security guards. Right, okay. They wear uniforms.
Okay, if they're hired by the women to protect them, that's one thing.
No. They're hired
or the government.
Yeah, right. Okay. So they're there to protect them. Okay. So the thing is that it was a win-win, a total win-win.
Makes sense
for everybody, and it was a little bit like the Christian lobby kind of did its nut, but everyone agreed it just fucking works. There is sometimes that if people are just going to do stuff, you've just got to work out how to legalise it and regulate it.
Oh, I agree with that in a lot of regards.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Stop
I think
trying to ban shit.
A lot of stress in situations like kind of forced celibacy situations with some of the priesthood and stuff, some issues there and positions of power that could help some people if we didn't stigmatize people for going, like, if you're in an unmarried state, in a sense, going somewhere else and paying somebody for that service, because I think that kind of thing can make people go nuts in a way. Like, I don't know. So I think it's a good thing that people should be able to get that kind of release when they need it. And I think if it's going to be with the government, at least, they should be regulating it and protecting you, because they're going to fuck you anyway, right? It's the government.
Well, there was a magazine plan. I try to remember this exact story in the late 1980s in Australia, where, Playboy, Penthouse, those sorts of magazines, right?
Oh, yeah.
But the old world ones, not, today's version.
Yeah.
And there was this idea...
Not Swank.
Swank. Das Buttcrack Monthly or whatever.
What?
Big Jugs Annual, all of those sorts of ones.
Oh my God.
They're the bad ones. But, however, there was this thing in the 80s there was apparently this startup of a company. It never happened. But their idea was they were going to play off especially the Playboy model, where they wanted to create a magazine with that someone would actually... Like, for an Australian of that time, the late 80s, early 90s, the idea that there will be... You'd walk onto a tram with one of these under your arm and not bother you. And it was going to be like... A bit like the move with Playgirl, but it would be like there would be articles, as in serious articles with serious people, but there would be 3 different photo spreads in each one. One would be a woman, one would be a man, and one would be a celebrity. Okay. And they would sell this magazine. So it'd be a fairly high-end magazine. You know, like you'd pay $30 per month for one. It wouldn't be cheap. Right. But it kind of, the idea grew and people talked about it and it just all fell apart. And it never actually happened. But I always thought, you know what, I reckon that would have been a good idea. I actually
if you want to look at both, yeah, absolutely.
But the idea
because a lot of people enjoy both.
Well, no, it wasn't meant to be that. It was the magazine that the husband and wife both had. So, in other words, the idea that the husband and wife subscribed
I know why it failed.
Yeah,
I know why it failed.
Why?
Because heterosexual men oftentimes can't take looking at other naked men. So they didn't want to open a magazine and see another man in there because either one of 2 things was going to happen. Either they were going to be repelled or they were going to be attracted.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see that
either
world,
one of
but
those
I
things
get
might
it.
make them feel uncomfortable in any numerous sorts of ways. So, I mean, take it from somebody who has been around men their whole life, who have not been had any problem with gay people per se, but you knew for sure that it would be an issue,
right?
If you wanted them to participate in even looking at something like that, okay? Because it would make them feel a way, and I don't know what way, but whatever way it was, they weren't happy about. Okay. So
that's interesting. No, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I just think a lot of heterosexual men, or maybe who identify as heterosexual, but maybe get some, because I don't think anybody is. I just literally don't think that there is anybody that is fully straight or fully gay. Like I don't think there's 100% anywhere. I think everybody is degrees on a sliding scale. So I think sometimes even if you think that you're super straight, once in a while you might go, hey, what? Oh, now I feel weird because I've had this thing, Well, and in macho culture, a lot of times that kind of thing is suppressed, and you see what that ends up like with men buying a lot of big guns and shooting people. So
big guns and trucks.
Yeah. And Bibles.
And Bibles. Yeah. But what about, okay, but here's the thing though. What about women who buy big trucks and guns? I'm asking a serious question. I'm not actually trying to take the piss. I'm actually asking a serious question.
What about?
Is that a cultural thing? Do you think, like, especially in America?
It's definitely a cultural thing in certain areas in America.
I'll put it this way: you definitely don't go to, I don't know, the Czech Republic or to Spain or to Australia, and you find that there are groups, women, who support the ownership of the AR-15. I mean, like it just doesn't happen. But in America, it does. It does.
Special breed, of full of shit. Yeah. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say about that. We have deified the gun and gun culture in this country for so long through pretty much every aspect of life. And again, this is coming from somebody who owns guns. I own 5 of them. I love to shoot. I own 3 handguns and 2 single bolt action rifles. I will admit it. I do not keep any of them in my home. I keep them at the club where we use them because I like to target practice.
Yep.
But I'm not hunting for animals because I can buy food at the grocery store. I am not worried about people, and believe me, I've been through some shit, but I am not worried about keeping a gun in my home to protect myself from invasion. I just don't live in that kind of fear. I'm more afraid of sharks.
Yeah, I did.
So
I shouldn't have laughed.
Yeah,
that was wrong.
I own weapons, but I believe fully in absolute common sense gun laws, and I don't believe that anybody should own a weapon of war. or anything that modifies a gun into a weapon of war, or I just don't think that that's necessary in society. And you can say, whoa, I have to protect myself from the government. Well, there is never going to be a time, honey. I don't care who you are, how many guns you put in your little hole there. You will never, ever, ever be able to keep the government if they really wanted to get you from getting you. So, I mean, let's be honest. It's just some macho bullshit. I mean, you might die trying to protect yourself from it, but eventually, if they really wanted you, you're either going to end up dead or they're going to get you. It's just the way it is.
Here's something that I was told from an old Walt Disney. Walt Disney, okay? The fascist in chief, right? Walt Disney. I remember watching a piece of Walt Disney.
Anti-Semitic. I don't know if he was fascist. I don't know.
Well, they kind of go hand in hand, don't they?
Do they? I don't necessarily know that.
Really?
But perhaps I don't. Are they?
Well, I suppose not. There are many Muslims who are anti-Semitic. They're not necessarily pro-fascist. So yes, I would give you that. Yeah, that's
anti-Semitic is like a racism thing, and fascism is like a
But I do believe he was both, though, which was.
Well, I'm not saying he was. I just don't know the fascism side.
But anyway,
let's go on.
But anyway,
you know more about the fascist past of Disney. Walt Disney, please tell us.
There is always the joke, and even I think I've even heard Seth MacFarlane say it. It's like, how is it that a man who believed in fascist ideology, is the hero to generations of children? It's a very weird fucking idea,
he's not per se. It's
who isn't?
It's just the theme park. People like the
no, not the theme park. I mean, the Disney. Walt is dead. I'm not by any means suggesting
his head is cryogenically frozen.
That's right.
Sub-levels
I'm not
Disney
by
World
any
here.
means suggesting that the Disney Corporation has any fucking fascist links whatsoever. I'm not saying that. But Walt himself, okay.
Oh, I was just saying I don't know about
all I will say,
personally,
Walt,
I don't know.
I'll just say this. He liked a bit of Wagner. All right? He liked a bit of Wagner.
I look at the way they portrayed Tony Stark's father, Howard Stark, in the films. Kind of as that Walt Disney kind of character in a sense.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He even looked the same.
A lot. And then when they did the whole layout of the Stark exhibition, that was kind of the way that you would see Walt Disney standing in front of the models of what Epcot was going to look like and different things like that when he was doing The Wonderful World of Disney.
I know.
But in the same kind of sense, horrifying weapons. Mass destruction.
I know, but I grew up. I mean, I grew up in a world sitting back as a young child on Sunday night watching Disney, and watching. And then watching Jacques Cousteau, a Jacques Cousteau adventure. Right.
That was great.
And then we'd watch that, and then we would move into the Sunday night movie before it was bedtime, I mean, that was a Sunday tradition. And the other thing, too, for me is that as a kid, we had this tradition where on Sunday nights there was no cooking. We got takeaway.
Okay.
And that was a big deal in Australia, actually, getting takeaway then, actually.
Was it?
It really was. Because there wasn't... Okay, first of all, there was no fucking home delivery service. You had to go and get it, right?
Shocking.
I don't even know when home delivery started. I think in Australia it was the 80s before we got home delivery. You had to go, you'd order a pizza on the phone. You still have to go and pick it up.
We were doing that in the 80s in Tennessee. If you had ordered from Little Caesars, they gave you two pizzas side by side, and you had to drive over there and pick it up and bring it home in your car.
But I remember
they were side by side, Warren.
But it was always one of the two choices we had. We either had fish and chips, or we had Chinese. It was one of the two. It was the only thing my parents would allow.
You got that, okay.
We never got pizza. We're not allowed to have pizza. I don't know why. So it was either fish and chips or Chinese. And
we couldn't get fish and chips delivered. That would have been something.
Oh, what? You still
pizza
can't.
Or Chinese, yes.
Do you know how hard it is to get fish and chips delivered? It is so hard. You can get pizza delivered, you can get a fucking prostitute delivered, but you can't get fish and chips delivered. It is unbelievable. Fish and chips is one of those in Australia for some, I don't know why.
Because it's shark. We're coming back around to the sharks again.
Yeah, well, it is. Well, it is, Essie. Yeah. We eat a fucking.
It's time to wrap it up.
We eat a lot of sharks in Australia. Are we at that point?
Our conversation is a circle. I think we have to. It's like 2.5 hours. I mean, we can keep talking, but
no. I think 2 hours
are bored with us.
I think 2 hours is enough of us talking crap. I never got to talk about the fact that I finished my latest James Bond novel.
We can't get on Bond again. No. Not tonight.
No. So
we have to save it because you know what else we didn't discuss? And we're going to have to, not tonight, but that Magnum episode because you saw it. And I wasn't wrong.
We were meant to talk about that. Wrong. All right. It's going to have to be for the next episode. All right. Fair enough. But, so, all right. Well, that's a 2-hour show. That's actually not too bad. That's good for us. You know?
Yes. It's succinct and, I don't know if I just used that word right. Oh, my.
What's the old line? What's the line from Red Dwarf? What is the line drawn? The line from Red Dwarf. I don't know,
Warren. I haven't seen it.
I'm trying to tell you. Which is, I'm not sober. I'm not drunk. I'm just comfortably merry. So, anyway, this is when he had to save the universe by using a... Oh, don't worry.
Well, then I will say and end it with a quote from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is, goodbye and thanks for all the fish.
Yes. Said by the dolphins, wasn't it? I can't beat that. We're going to say goodbye. All right. Thanks for listening. That was a great... I enjoyed that show. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll be back when we're back. Cheers, guys. Cheers, guys.